Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I have just finished what I had to do for Emma. I made the little bag for her knitting needles. Got a zip, a long zip. I've made the long zip so she just place the needles inside, put the lining inside, and I'll show you the needles, how they fit in. This is the normal size needle, what most people use. That one just drops in like that without any trouble. And then this one is a little bit longer, as you can see with that needle. It's a little bit longer than that one. That one in. I have to push that one in a bit because it's not quite as... But so it's long enough for a long needle as well. But I know Emma did tell me one time she liked the smaller needles, so hers probably aren't that long anyway. But I'm going to take them out now in case I forget and set it up with them in. So I managed that. I managed to put the lining inside, and then these little things on the end here. And I had an awful job with them because I had to cover those as well with material. I've done it as best I can with that because it was very awkward covering those. I don't know you can see in there, like, but because the needles would go through the loops on the end, so I had to cover those in as well. And I just put the little circle on and then crocheted all around it, and you know, I laid this down flat when I stitched that thing on, but it seems to be so there's more material in what's on the crochet part. But anyway, it's done. I'll be able to send that off. And I put a little handle on there to hold it with. So I'll be able to send that off. If I get to the post office before 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll be able to post it off to Emma with the bag. And I also had to do a little... I didn't have it quite enough to cover the whole, where the seam, this was the seam here, and it was all the way down there and across the bottom there where I had stitched it. I've had to do all hand stitching on this because I couldn't do it on the machine. The material was too thick when I first made it anyway, and I had to hand stitch it. So I had to hand stitch this. I did stitch it on the machine to turn the hem all around the edge first. The little bit there, you can see that little bit there that I've put in to cover the seam, but it doesn't matter about that little bit at the top because the needles won't come that far, they won't be sticking out. So I've done that on both sides where the seam was to cover the seam in because the needles would have stuck through that seam there and through the bottom bit as well. But it's all finished. And that's what I've been doing most of the day. It's took me nearly all day. I started this just before I had my lunch. I started doing that. And the length of time it took me, because I put the lining inside here as well and done those little things on the end. And the little handle thing there. And then I just folded it up and put it inside the bag. And then I'd done that little bit for the sides, and it was nearly tea time by the time I finished that. So I will definitely never ever be doing any more of these with linings in, so please do not ask. The only things I'll do with lining is little bags for to put your crochet hooks and little odds and ends in, like I have a little one like that where I've got all my crochet hooks inside there, little things like that. And then another one there that I have where I keep my like tape measures, and that's a little thing with stitch markers and all your little, you know, your stitch holder things, and that's what I keep all them sort of things in that one. I could do with another one, a bit bigger one, because this one's getting a bit full actually. So that's took me most of the day to do that. And so then after that I was time to make my tea, and so I thought after I've had my tea And then my phone started, that cash register started going on my phone since then, and I've never stopped writing patterns, writing addresses out and putting it into envelopes for patterns and that. And I'm going to have a rest now and do some knitting. I'm going to get another cup of tea. I think there's another cup of tea left in my flask. Because I put my tea, I make a pot of tea in the mornings and I put it into a flask to keep it hot for all day. And I think I've got 1 cup left in there. I'm going to have that cup of tea and sit down and do some knitting because it is nearly 7:45 now. And that's my bit for now. I'll show you a little bit more of what I've been doing, but that's just wanted to show that first. My videos are getting later. I haven't had time today, and I think I should have just done a live tonight. I think only as it's getting later, I don't get very good picture on the my laptop. I'll put my knitting down a minute. This is that little one I was showing you that I was doing the other, put the needles up, the other day when I was checking one of my patterns. That's the back, I've sorted the back. And that was the front bit I sorted. When I was looking at the pattern, I thought I had made a mistake. So I knitted it just to make sure. And I don't know what I was thinking, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay, so I'm finishing it off now. And the little pink one I knit the other day, this is, Sammy's wearing it, and Sammy is Samantha today because it's a little girl's cardigan, as you can see. And there's a lady called Helen has asked me for, I think there was this cardigan she meant, but I had a little bit of trouble finding her email. She wanted me to send probably my email, I think. I have knitted for her before, so I knew I had an email somewhere, but I had deleted all old emails because they were starting to block up my email. But I went through all my addresses. This was the other day, and I went through all the addresses today because I keep all the email addresses of people that buy things from me, so I know, I can get in touch with them if I have to. And I found it there, so I've sent her an email today. So if I don't hear from her within a couple of days, Helen, it'll go onto eBay, because I put the other 2 onto eBay because I've got that special offers come back on again. Only it didn't tell me till, it must be when you put something up on eBay, that must be when they give you that special offer. I'm going to put Samantha down for a minute. She can sit there and watch me. And I had printed out some more of my knitting patterns, so I hadn't seen anything. That offer hadn't come on my eBay all day today. So I thought not long ago, probably about an hour ago, I'll just put the knitting patterns up. I'll put them up 5 at a time. I did print out 25 of each, and I was going to put them up on eBay with the 25, so anybody, there would be there for at least 25 people that were looking at them. And as soon as they're finished, I would put some more up. But with that offer being not on, I didn't know whether it was coming on or not, so I just put 5 of each of the new patterns. That one, and where's the other one? And that one, I put 5 each of those up, and the other 3, that I have are up there. That one, and that one. Those ones are up anyway. But I had to put another. I did get an order for that one. It was the last one, so I put 5 of that one up as well. And there's the little instructions out there. I send this, I put a little bit extra inside the pattern because this one here has the 2 colour one on, but I only put that one on to show that you could do the round neck in it as well. It was the only one I had at the round neck. So just in case anybody was wondering about how to do the 2 colour, I've just told them. It's just a matter of a couple of lines, that's all. I have got to knit the 2 colour cardigan. You need to knit the rib in the contrast colour. Then when you change needles, you go to 4mm needles, you knit the first 2 rows in the contrast colour, then knit the 4 rows in white, and change to the contrast colour and knit the 5 rows below, the one where you go the stitches below, and the next per row. So you only actually do 2 rows in that contrast colour, and then you change to the white again, and that is how the pattern is worked. And I've said, do not cut off the wool of the loop. You loop the different colours up the side of the work every couple of rows. And that's just a little bit extra information in case anybody was wondering about the, maybe's wanted to do that one and was looking for the instructions on here, but there wasn't enough room on this pattern thing because the pattern took up the whole sheet. I hadn't any more room to put it on. Maybe I should have wrote it in a slightly smaller print. I might print it out again and put it in a smaller print so I can add that into the pattern. But that's that anyway. And so I put those, that was 15 patterns all together with three lots. And then that offer come up for the 80% off, and I could have screamed. I can't take it off and put it back on again because they'll have that information in eBay and it'll still not come up as the thing. I'm glad I only put 5 up because when they go, I'll put the new ones up. I have to activate the offer before it comes onto anything. So I'll put the 2 cardigans up that I had, the ones I done in the splash, in the King Cole splash. I put those 2 up, and even before that, my phone makes a cash, you know, when you open a cash register, that's the sound it makes when eBay tells you have a sale. And I am sick of that thing. I'm going to have to clear my coffee table and put all the things for printing them out on, because I've been up and down. I've got all the patterns on my table in my dining table in the back room, and I'm keep getting up every few minutes. Our cash register's going, and I'm getting up and writing them out and come back and sitting down, and the cash register's going again, and I'm sick to death of that sound. I feel like turning the sound off on my phone, but if I do that, I won't hear the sale coming up, so I can't turn it off. But I only have, I bought 2 books of stamps the other day, so I have 16 stamps left, and I've used, I think, about five other ones. I've put the other ones onto other envelopes, so I've only got enough to do another 16 envelopes, and I walk up to the post box later on. I wait until about 10 o'clock at night, and if I have to see if there's any orders up to then I walk up to the post box, top of my estate, and put them in the post box. So I've got 16 stamps left for any other ones I get to pop in the post box, or the ones I've already done. I'm going to put this down while I'm talking about that because I'm onto a rosebud row, and I know I'm going to make a mistake with it. But I was getting worried because I couldn't get the printer paper anywhere for those patterns, and the only paper I could get was that thin stuff, which is no good. And I ended up looking for it online, and I did find it online, and it came today, so I'm very happy about that. That's what I get for it. This is Navigator, it's called. And this is the, as you can see down there, it's 120 GM something 2. I'm not sure, I'll have to look up, so I'm not sure what that GM means, but that's the thickness of the paper anyway. But most of the ordinary paper you get is either 75 or 80 GM. And it's too thin, and everywhere I looked when I was looking for this one, I paid, I think it was, I was buying them from Wilko. That was where I bought the last pack from, and I think it was just under £5 for, there's 250 sheets in here. It is a little bit more expensive than the ordinary stuff because it is a bit thicker. But they've never had any in. Every time I went up, when I was starting to run out and I was printing a lot of patterns, and I'm going to need some more of that paper, so I kept going up to Wilko. Every time I was out shopping, I was nipping into Wilko, and they've never had anything at all, actually. There doesn't seem to be any printer paper at all on there, except that really thin stuff, the 75, which is no good because when I print a picture on, that picture shows through on the other side, and I've got to print the instructions out as well, so this is the best stuff for that. So anyway, I went online, and it was very, very expensive. It wasn't just the postage on top. Some of them wanted about £12 for a pack like this, which Wilko was only charging just under £5. But I found this, if I bought it in bulk, I got it for less than the £5. I'm not sure exactly how much. I paid about £34 for getting it in bulk. For there's actually 8 packs like this, so I'm saying 8 fives is 40. So I have gotten a little bit cheaper buying it that way. And it was on Amazon. I think it was on Amazon I looked up on. And the fella that come and delivered it today, it was really a heavy parcel. He was carrying up the pack and he put it down. He says, I hope you've got a good printer for all this paper. And I says, I've got a good printer. I says, a very good one. So we had a big conversation. What kind of printer is it? Says, it's an Epson Eco Tank. What's one of them? I says, you don't have to buy cartridges for it. I says, you buy bottles of ink like that. I says, and the first time when I bought it, I wasn't printing out these patterns then, but I says, those bottles of ink lasted 2 years. There was a colour for each colour. There was black. This is what I'm telling him. I says, there's a bottle of black. I says, actually, the printer came with all the ink for it at first. There was 2 bottles of black in it. Bottle of the blue, the yellow, and the like magenta. They have names for it. And I says, and those inks lasted me 2 years, and I still had a bottle of black left. And so I only had to buy 3 coloured ones. I says, I've had that printer for 3 years. I says, and it cost me 40. I think it was £48 because they were £12 a bottle. I think the bottles of ink. And you just pour them into the little tanks in the thing, and they last for years if you're not doing loads and loads of printing. But I had an HP one before that, and that HP one, the cartridges, they never used to last 5 minutes. And I used to buy those. You could get like not the proper HP ones, but they were like a cheaper brand. And sometimes they worked, and sometimes they didn't. Sometimes I thought that the HP was sending something to your computer to stop working, to stop those cheaper ones working. And then I've seen a few things on the internet now, that is what they are doing, the HP. They are putting something into probably on your updates on your printer, they're sending something so that it'll only accept HP inks, which are very expensive. I gave that one away to someone when I bought this other one. It was the Epson Eco Tank was much better. So that's what I'm telling that fella. And I says, well, you better get away. And I says, you've probably got some other deliveries to do instead of saying, yeah, it happened to me. But he was laughing, he's saying, thank you for that information. He says, if I want a printer, he says, I know what to get now, don't I? So that saved me a lot of worry, because I was getting worried because my paper was going down, and I knew I had a lot more to print, and I did print so many out, and I thought it's not going to last, if I start getting any more orders, I wouldn't be able to print any out, so I wouldn't put any orders up if I hadn't the paper to do it, like. But anyway, it's come today, and that's the best thing. And I am going to get on with my knitting. I was at bingo last night. No, I'm not getting on with that because it's a rosebud pattern. I'm going to wait till I finish talking. I went to the bingo last night, never won anything. Me and my friend, we were pretty close, waiting for 1 numbers, but our luck just wasn't in last night. But never mind, there was no diversions again. On the way home, everything's all back to normal on those roads, except that stupid roundabout where they were having all the diversions. We now have one side of the roundabout when I'm going to the bingo. I think there's 1, 2, 3 sets of traffic lights. One set is for the crossing. One set's for the crossing, and then there's another set. If the crossing's on green, the other set's on green, and then you get up to the island. Or the roundabout. Some call it island, some call it roundabout. You get up to the island, there is another set of traffic lights. And then you have to find out which lane you have to be in now. I just used to stay in the outside lane, went all the way around, and because it was more or less I was going round like that and straight across. So I just stayed in the outside lane, only now they've changed. You still stay in that outside lane for going there. But when I come back, I'm coming to that island again, and I have to be on the inside lane now, and then I have to go across. There's traffic lights there, then I have to go across to the middle of the roundabout and change to another lane. To, which those ones, you have to wait till those ones change, and then you go around, some more traffic lights for the crossing, and you know, going there and coming back, there wasn't a bit of traffic all the way around. I got past the zebra crossing on the going there, because there was no one crossing or anything. I got round there, but the other traffic lights were on stop for going round the roundabout. There was a single car coming round, and it was the same going home. There was no cars at all, and I had to stop at every traffic light because it was on red, and there was no cars, where before you just drove around. And I think it's ridiculous. I think it's the council using up government money, because they're going to lose it otherwise. That's my idea anyway. I might be wrong, but anyway, that's my little bit for now. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another day. So bye for now.